G'day everyone, welcome back to Pete's Investing. Today is March 31, 2023. This is the spot silver price update. First glance, looking at it for the daily, the 4 hourly and the hourly, you can see here on the CCI 1500, it's broken to the upside with a moving average in a bullish momentum on all three timelines. So if we drill down on each of those, looking at the daily first, we did have this support resistance area drawn previously, to our previous update, and it was actually touching that and actually broke through that. So that's a big positive in terms of bullishness. And it's now coming and resting off this diagonal descending trend line, which was also drawn previously. And if I draw out, you can see there's a wedge forming between those two diagonal trend lines. And there's also this key support area and its key resistance, and it's broken through that resistance, and I'll change that in a second. But other than to say, just be careful. We may see a bit of a retrace to the downside, although it's a pretty strong signal. Whenever you see a Fibonacci retracement break much higher than the 61% level, that's a good sign in terms of a reversal. So in this case, it's broken above the 61% on the daily time frame. Anything above the 61 and 50% is a good signal. So just be careful. We may see a bit of a retracement to the downside in the coming days, just to help consolidate before moving further upwards possibly. To drill down on the 4 hour chart, again, first look at this range here. As I said, it's broken up through that area, and I'm going to draw a, give me 1 second. I'm going to draw a new resistance area that's forming as we speak. So it's going to move it from that line to this area here. So actually, I'm not going to draw a new one. I'm going to put in a dotted line because it's still forming, and I want to make sure that it confirms before we take any further action. So that there is a new potential resistance. I'm going to keep this one here for the moment, just in case it breaks to the downside here. But that could be a new resistance forming, and we'll move that red line in the coming hours or even days. Depends on how it performs. I've also drawn this Fibonacci extension, if you're new to Fibonacci's, between that high and low and that rebound, and then it shows you the Fibonacci extension at the 123% level is a possible target. It's currently sitting at that 100% level. These don't always play out 100% that way, but sometimes it goes as high as a 61% or 78%, and there's various levels they reach. And sometimes they might even go as high as 200% or more. So there's various degrees of accuracy with these. They're never always 100% work in your favor, so just be careful of using extensions. But I always use these in hindsight. I prefer to use a Fibonacci retracement, a more accurate representation. Also, if you're new for trading, I've got this divergence happening on the CCI. It's a bearish divergence versus a bullish divergence on the price chart. They were very slight, but they were a divergence nonetheless. And you can notice here that would have been a nice area to trade going short when the moving average of the CCI broke to the downside. To go short, you can see that it would have played out quite nicely, and using maybe a few various exit strategies, whether it's a moving average change or a percentage or a monetary gain, that would have been a nice shorting position on that point there. On the hourly chart, not much here to add really, except for to say that in our previous update we did talk about this little range of Fibonacci retracement, and it came and bounced off this 50% quite nicely. That's what I'm meaning by Fibonacci retracements are more sort of accurate or predictable in some ways than extensions. So it's bounced off the 50% level, and it did actually break through that resistance area to the upside. So I'm going to remove that Fibonacci retracement just to avoid confusion. So not much more to add on the hourly, apart from saying it's still heading in a more bullish momentum. Just be mindful this may be a key resistance in line with that dotted line, but also this descending diagonal trend line. But you also notice as well, I did draw this ascending diagonal trend line as well along these bottoms, and you'll notice it's actually gravitating back towards that trend line as well. So that's actually a positive in terms of bullishness on the price chart. So overall, it's a pretty positive move, but just be mindful of that potential reversal in the coming hours and days. To understand how to properly trade using the average down approach, reference the links in the description below. Subscribe and like the channel, and reference the Patreon page links in the description below. I'll see you in the next video.